I think it started by now at
It
this
did.
point, so I'm gonna say hi, hello everyone, welcome back to Rough Pup Services questions here. Uh, Darren,
Hi, I'm Rebecca. Yep, like Darren said, Rough Pup Services, we're running through some questions today. I think we're on, I don't know, like our fifth, sixth, or seventh question um,
yeah, I don't
as
know,
far as videos go.
I
We
don't
actually
know.
got over 50 questions, so we are breaking this up into different videos for you guys. That way you're not listening to, like an hour and a half of us talking or more. That way you can just go through and find the topics that you need. And even if you want to listen to all of them, of course you can do that.
Hmm.
Um,
Once
all
they're
right.
all done, we will stitch all of them together. If you do
Yes.
really want to sit down and watch all of it together, if
Yeah.
that will give you a better picture of things, so look
Yep.
forward to that.
Those will be on our YouTube and our Patreon. So you can take a look at those. Um, so today, right now, this question, we're going to cover fear, anxiety, and confidence building. Um,
Fun stuff.
yeah. So we had an anonymous poster under Pastel Lemur 57 say how to correct a scared rescue dog's flight or fight behavior from living on the streets and restoring confidence that is not reliant on another dog. That's a little bit of a tricky one, so I'm sure that we'll have some good information to give there. However, that type of thing, I would look at getting some professional help for your
Hmm.
pup just to look at building confidence.
Especially if that fight is something that they
Yes.
like to lean into more. If it's more of the flight, some of these things might help, but I still would
Yeah.
recommend looking into getting a professional that could come out and get eyes on it and really
Yeah.
help assist in the best way.
Yep, and just dig into that situation a little bit
Hmm.
more because there are so many different factors in training and behavior. So, Pastel Lemur, stick around for some advice, some things to start with while you do go ahead and find someone to work hands on with you and your dog.
Hmm.
Rebecca said, my boy is literally perfect except for his fear of loud vehicles. It makes walks difficult, especially with being down the street from a fire station. Ooh, rough. Is there a way to desensitize him or help with anxiety on walks? Natasha asked, being timid or skittish when being introduced to new things? All right. Darren, do you want to get us started?
Yeah, I'm going to start off with the big one here and dealing with a lot of fear and anxiety and confidence building,
Yep.
honestly. Leadership is love. Don't coddle your dog.
Yeah.
Leadership is love. Lead with that confidence, that lack of fear
Yeah.
that you want your dog to showcase as well, because they will feel that.
Mm-hmm.
They will sense your intentions and start to feel more comfortable ultimately, knowing that you have control of the situation at hand. You have their best interests at heart. Um, Now, I know with, you know, fear reactivity to these loud noises and things like that, instances for me, you could find kind of the distance that you don't have a reaction from them
Yeah.
and work your way closer, building some positive associations. You could bring in, some searching behaviors. You could do like some food scattering around there. You
Mm-hmm.
could do some structured play and slowly start to close that gap so that maybe eventually they'll start to associate, oh, this thing over here isn't scary. And when this thing is around, I get to have these fun and exciting times and start to kind of switch that picture ultimately in their head. Another option, depending on kind of what the severity of it is just some light flooding. Go and sit in that environment with them until they settle,
Yeah.
then leave. And just rinse and repeat. Keep doing that over and over until you'll start to notice that they'll almost immediately start to settle after these things.
Yeah. Absolutely. So I'm going to build a little bit on the leadership is love and don't coddle. So talking about that, something else that you could do is do a little bit of obedience training with your dog. The reason we're going to recommend that is because for some dogs, it makes this huge difference having a clear picture on what is expected of them behavior wise.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
so if you can interrupt the fear, the anxiety with a command, the dog will go, ah, I have something solid to do. I know what the right answer is here. So it just takes some of the anxiety out of that situation.
Absolutely.
That's not for every dog. And if it's really extreme, you might need to look at getting some help. Um, But overall, obedience training, building that good communication with your dog and some good control really builds their trust in you. And it really builds your communication with your dog, where they start to pay more attention to you, they start to engage with you more, and it just builds their confidence and trust in you. So there's
Absolutely.
that. The other thing that I'm going to say is don't make a big deal about them getting anxious, right? So when we say don't coddle, we're meaning, let's say that your dog gets startled by something. Don't go into them and go, oh my gosh, my poor baby. I am so sorry that scared you.
Give them that sweet voice,
Yeah.
all the physical touch.
Yeah. Nope, don't do that.
Don't do that.
You're
You are
making it so
actually
much worse.
rewarding that behavior with
Yeah.
that. They are taking that as a sense of praise that you're coming
Yeah.
in, you're giving them all this attention because of this big scary thing. Let's just cut that out.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically what you're doing in that moment is you're telling them, yeah, you should be scared.
Mhm.
Oh my goodness, I was scared with you.
Mhm.
Let me comfort you. That was terrifying.
We'll get through this.
Yeah, exactly. So we're not exactly laughing at you guys, we're laughing at how often we see this because it is super common. And for us from the outside looking in, we can see your dog's anxiety and fearfulness just skyrocket when you do that. But to you guys, you're like, my baby is scared. Of course I want to comfort them.
But you have to keep in mind that this is not a human.
Yeah.
That would work with your human child in a lot of instances. That would work with a friend that got scared.
Yeah.
The dogs don't process things and see the world the same way that we do. So we have to really look at what the dog needs.
Yeah.
And in a pack of dogs, you don't see them all running up to each other whenever
No.
someone gets scared. No, they're honestly usually on the lookout like, wait, what's going on? How can we help? Like, what's
Yeah.
up?
Yep.
Kind of do that same thing for your dog. If you do see that startle, just keep confident. If you can see what the trigger is, sure, you can work on some of those things we talked about earlier in the video. But if you don't see what that trigger is, just look around. See what you can do to take that pressure and anxiety away from your dog.
Yeah. So, in some situations, that's going to look like giving your dog just a little space from that trigger
Mhm.
and then stopping before they're truly away from the trigger, because you don't want to say, oh, you were scared, I'll take you out of this situation. But you can take some of the pressure off where your dog can be successful
Mhm.
by creating a little distance but still staying close to that trigger. Because removing them from the trigger would be rewarding the behavior, and you'll actually make the fear and anxiety worse, especially if you're experience any type of reactivity to triggers.
Mhm.
You are just rewarding that and basically saying, yes, when you behave this way, when you feel these things, when you do that with your tail, I'm going to take you out of the situation. So there's that. The other thing that you can look at doing here, and part of the reason that we recommended a little bit of light flooding or structured play or obedience, is to build more engagement with you, right? So you want to praise them for interacting with you.
Mhm.
Do you want to go to the next one on exploring new things?
Oh yeah, I love exploring new things, which means my dogs do too. Exploring new experiences and environments will help your dog honestly build that confidence that this big world that we live in, with all of these loud cars, these screaming children, people losing their ever-loving minds over the cute dog across the street. Oh my god, look at it, look at it. All of these high energy things, they're
It's terrifying.
getting right, terrifying every time. All of these things that are triggering your dog, if you actually go out into these environments and act with that confidence, and you don't let people run up on your dogs, and you don't let your dogs sit there and try and get out of dodge just because the wind over there moved that tree the wrong way. I need to go.
Yeah.
Just inviting them into these new environments and learning to settle and relax in them. Go to the park, sit out in the woods, go sit on a street corner and hang out with your dog for a second. Sit down, read a book, make it a total non-event for them.
Yeah.
So that way they'll also start to realize, okay, all this stuff, it's actually pretty chill.
Yeah.
I don't need to be so terrified. If mom's over here reading a book, if dad's over here looking at his phone, not worried about any of this stuff, maybe maybe I actually don't have to be as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and in these situations, something that you can do to create an even clearer picture for your dog is once they are showing calmness, then add in just a little bit of praise.
Very light. Don't get
Very
super
light.
excited.
Yeah,
Don't
so
get
you're just
super
gonna
excited.
keep it super chill. You know, some dogs you can even just talk to them a little bit. Good boy, nice job.
Mhm.
But if you notice that that's causing your dog to like jump up and suddenly seem like energetic or really wanting to engage with you, nope, you were either too early or it doesn't work for your dog and it's unnecessary.
Mhm.
So for dogs that happens, you know, you could look at just like stroking them along their back, like one long pet. That can be really soothing for them.
Or the chest.
Yeah.
That's also really calming for them a lot of the time too.
Yep, that can be really
Stroking
good.
up from the chest to the chin.
Yeah. Pastel lemur, I'm gonna advise that you be really careful though about how you handle your dog in that moment. If you're seeing really strong fight or flight behaviors, right? No one wants to get nipped. We certainly don't want that for you. So be careful about where you handle your dog in that moment.
Mhm.
Because if they're still locked on a trigger and really tense, and you go to touch them, you may have a problem there. So just keep that in mind. Not saying that you will, you're the one with your dog, we don't have enough information to tell you, but just a little bit of caution there. So we also want to cover just a little bit about how we get the dog to interact with new things, right? So if we're looking at real fearfulness, real anxiety, where the dog will go up and visit something new, you've probably seen them do this. They go up, they investigate, something small changes, or maybe nothing changes, and your dog freaks out. Freak out, they like flinch, they dodge away. Certain dogs will even nip in that situation, kind of depends on the animal. What we like to do is a 3-second rule, right? Dog goes up, they investigate, 1, 2, 3, call your dog away. Your dog has now had a good experience investigating that object. Now, if your dog is going up and is still like flinching at the object, then go ahead and wait until they are getting just a little bit more curious and you're no longer seeing them flinch. Wait for maybe 1 or 2 seconds, call them away. And then you can either move on from the object if it's something that you really don't need them to interact with or you're not actively training. Just carry on like nothing happened, right? So you're walking your dog startles at a trash can. Turn around, go over, maybe interact with the trash can a little bit. They interact with it calmly, you walk away. Don't go back to that trash can, just keep going.
No need.
Right? Because if you keep going back to that item, you can actually create fear and anxiety. Your dog's like, oh my gosh, this is a big deal to mom, this is a big deal to dad, it's a big deal to me. But if you are actively training with your dog and wanting them to investigate new things, that looks a little different. Where you are going up, you're using that 3-second rule, you're wanting to create calmness in investigating new things. So 2 very different situations, and just, yeah, keep that in mind. Anything else, Dan?
No.
All right.
No, I think that really covers it,
Yeah.
honestly. That 3 seconds is a big thing there.
Yeah.
Because usually in that 3 seconds, they're able to honestly figure out exactly what it is very quickly, and then you can pull them away like, okay, yeah, it's no big issue. Now, if you're really wanting to build a very confident dog, a trick would be to let them investigate, but pull them away while they are still curious. Make them want to go check that out more, instead of being like, oh, mom has to tell me to go check this every time.
Yeah.
Have them start to be like, okay, maybe I'm gonna go investigate this thing again.
Yeah.
Call them away while they're still a little curious.
Absolutely. The only thing that I'm gonna add in here is when your dog is investigating something new, especially if it is like a person that you've set up training with for them to go up to and sniff, right? You want that person to be very neutral to the dog. No eye contact, no touching, no real petting. If any of those things happen, if you feel like it's time for those things, one, be very cautious, because a lot of owners want their dog to be friendly, where you actually want neutrality, because neutrality comes with calmness and confidence, whereas what looks like friendly to a lot of people is actually a really high level of anxiety. where your dog is like, oh my gosh, I have to investigate and I have to insert myself so that I know what's going on, because if I
Mhm.
don't know what's going on, it's not going to get handled. So, with that in mind, right, when your dog goes up to investigate, don't put like a lot of pressure on your leash. Don't hold them back, because you're actually going to add tension and energy into that situation.
Yes, keep it
Um,
very slack.
yep. And don't have the other person move away from your dog. Call your dog away. Because if you're putting tension on the leash, or the other person goes to move away or moves into the situation, and you have a really fearful dog, that's where somebody's going to get bit. So just keep that in mind as well. Obviously, that can be a little different if we're investigating an object. Anything else?
No, I think
All right, I think
that
that
covered
covered it.
that.
We gave you guys a lot of information there. Hope it's helpful. Thanks.